YouTube, welcome to another edition of Off the Top Rope. We are talking about the WWE Draft since it's draft week in a lot of senses with the NFL Draft and WWE following right after it. Kind of ironic how they did that, but that's a topic for another day. My name is Calvin Camerath. I'm joined by Mr. Kevin Wilson right over here. And we are going to be telling you guys one person that we think should end up on each brand. Just a fun little exercise to kind of get the brain flowing and kind of talk about some fun booking scenarios at the same time. So, Kevin, I'll let you go first. Why don't you tell me one person you think needs to end up on one particular brand?
Okay, so I'm going with the red brand first, and it's an NXT call up.
Okay.
Um, so since NXT went to the whole 2.0, the multicolor
Mm-hmm.
nonsense,
Mm-hmm.
I stopped watching religiously.
Sure.
Because I liked the whole dingy, it looked like, old school videos of world class championship wrestling, the whole like, oh hey, look, we're in the sport Dallas Sportatorium. It's not that greatly lit, but you know what? This is great. This is awesome. I
Right.
loved it.
Right.
Into the whole lighting and all the razzmatazz, whatever you want to go and call it. I'm like, all
100%.
right, yeah, whatever. So watching recently,
Yeah.
I really think Grayson Waller
Mm.
would be a massive addition to Monday Night Raw. Because think about it, it's a 3 hour show. It's Raw, wrestling, flashing them. Raw has always variety, entertainment with wrestling. Grayson Waller, like this dude's got as the young kids say, this dude's got the riz. All right, he really does.
Yeah.
Um, and like his accent is captivating. It's everything about perfect for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Really is. I mean, if they decide to go and keep Rollins on the Raw, have a Logan Paul, those are two guys that I'd love to go continue the feud with Johnny Gargano.
100%.
Trying to think of some other guys that could maybe, if you Grayson Waller plays a heel, I kind of want to see how he plays as the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
But he's so good as a
I,
heel.
he's
He's
so
so
good
good.
as he's so good as a heel. But I
Yeah.
want to see what he could do with a Dominic Mysterio.
Mm.
I want to see if he'd be able to because again, like I said, Grayson's got the Riz.
Mm-hmm.
Dom has a different type of Riz, and it's
Mm.
like I want to see those kind of clash and see what they do.
Right.
It's like
That'd be a
it's like
comedy skit waiting to happen, essentially.
it's kind of like when you go, all right, you know what? I want to go and see what exactly happens when you add. Is it going to be like adding potassium into water, or do you
Sure.
get a boom, or is it going to be a dud like adding oil to water and it just
Mm-hmm.
sits on top?
100%. No, I totally get it. Grayson Waller is main roster ready. He was one of the people that I was very very close to picking. But since we're on the topic of Monday Night Raw, and since we are on the topic of NXT call ups, I think the person rather the people that I would bring up from NXT is pretty deadly.
Oh,
I mean,
I,
just think about it. The tag team division needs a little influx because right now it's the Usos and Sammy and KO, and maybe a little bit of Braun and Ricochet. Like that's really the only believable tag teams that there are right
yep.
now. They could use a solid tag team on Monday Night Raw. They could probably use two of them, honestly, um, if they're ready to bring up Brooks and Jensen. I don't know if they're ready yet, but or Briggs and Jensen, whatever their names are. But at the end of the day, Pretty Deadly is main roster ready, and they have the look. They can talk. They're annoying as hell, which is perfect for being the sniving heels on Monday Night Raw. They would get maximum heat because people would be so opposed to who they are as people, and it would just work perfectly, honestly. So Pretty Deadly, for me, to Monday Night Raw makes sense. let's focus on NXT. Let's talk about maybe somebody who gets sent down. Essentially, who are you sending to NXT?
I so I don't know if I would really call it like being sent down
Mm-hmm.
in a way, just because like Apollo Crews went down there
Yeah,
and did
and he's
fine for
doing
himself.
work.
Yeah, like he's doing great. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, if he came back, if you want to go, okay, if you want to equate it to baseball, it's your big time prospect who was in AAA
Mm-hmm.
and like, all right, here's a perfect example because the Red Sox, Jaron Duran,
Sure.
good amount of hype to him. And last season, it just felt like the pressure got to him and he just faltered down the line. And he took the off season to better himself mentally, to get into the best physical condition he could possibly get into.
Right.
And now he's on the main, in terms of the main roster, he's on the main ball club. He's on the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And it's starting to look like he's going to be the starting center fielder. And this dude is fast, you
Yeah.
know? Like, he just hit his first grand slam the other night.
Right.
Um, so
So you wouldn't essentially call it being called or sent down, rather.
I think it would be more of a look. I think we need a little bit more seasoning and a little bit more work upon yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then bring you back up when it looks like you're ready,
Sure.
and it looks like things are going to be good. Um, so I think the person that perfectly embodies going down
Mm.
is Johnny Gargano.
Ooh. Ooh. Johnny wrestling back to NXT, and I'm not mad at that at all.
No, and I hate having to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's one of those like I really think that it's not that he needs more season. That's what it said Gargano fans out there. It's not that he needs more seasoning.
Definitely not in ring
Not
work.
it's not that he's not ready for Monday Night Raw. I think it's just one of those where he's just so built for NXT. And until this whole Endeavor merger and all of this, like, kind of another reference to stuff I like, Doctor Who, this whole influx type of deal. It's not like a fixed thing where Johnny Gargano, he's Monday Night Raw or he's SmackDown. It's kind of in flux right
Yeah.
now where we don't know if Vince is going to say, you know what, sayonara, or if he's going to keep him.
Yeah.
So hunker down in NXT, learn from Shawn Michaels, learn from some of the guys that they've got down there, make that brand what it should be,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually come on back up.
Mm. Real quick before I tell you who I think, I saw an interesting post the other day. It said that they think NXT should be able to have people drafted up, but anybody who doesn't get signed to a brand goes down as a free agent to NXT. So that way, it's not really like a sent down type deal. It's more of like oh, well, you didn't get picked, but we'll give you a home, and now you a chance to work on your own yourself. It's almost like sending somebody to the independents, almost. Like you weren't good enough to be on Raw or SmackDown. We don't have anything for you right now.
Yeah.
Work in NXT. Speaking of somebody who doesn't have anything to do right now and hasn't had anything to do right now and is kind of in a really weird spot as somebody who's uberly talented but just can't seem to get over is Baron Corbin. Send Baron Corbin back to NXT. Let him go back to the lone wolf gimmick. Let him just terrorize NXT again, but have him capture the NXT World Championship. Make him that guy. Give him the strap and let him see if he can actually get over by being a dominant heel. Not a guy who's laughing at you because you mess up or anything along those lines. Just a vicious, cruel heel, and make the end of days protected again. Like I understand, like it's been broken, but like if you go to NXT and you have the string where nobody kicks out of it, then the move becomes unbeatable again. Like you don't kick out at the end of days. So Baron Corbin for me, back to NXT. Finally,
I
go ahead.
No, I want to say I do like that move. Put Baron Corbin back. You really haven't seen him on programming at all.
You saw him in a backstage segment like 2 weeks ago, and that was it.
Yeah, The only time that I see him is on TikTok when he's
Mhm.
grilling and smoking meats and just like, oh, it's like I want to go to your house, dude. I need to go and like he did a
Just
tri-tip.
what's
He did a
visit?
tri-tip the other
Let's
day, and it's like, oh god, it's like 2 in the morning, and I'm looking at
yeah.
this TikTok. I'm like,
You're like, damn it, I
shut
want to
up,
grill now.
stomach.
Yeah, I want to grill now. Yeah.
It's like
Um.
I want food now.
Yeah, 100%. SmackDown. I believe the draft is a huge opportunity, and I'll go first for SmackDown. I
Yep.
believe the draft is a huge opportunity to kind of separate people from their current storylines and have them be built into potential superstars. And this is the easiest way without having an ugly split between the two. I think Montez Ford to SmackDown is the move that needs to happen. And I say Montez Ford because Angelo Dawkins stays on Monday Night Raw,
Yep.
becomes a United States title contender. He's very, very capable of holding that belt and being a mid carder, even maybe even elevating himself to a main event player. But Montez has star potential. We're getting to the age now where we're like, hey, we gotta start capitalizing on this because you could have the next Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Montez Ford. So
Oh yeah.
Montez Ford to SmackDown for me.
God, I'm so glad. Like, this is gonna sound so cliche, but like,
Mm,
it really should be Seth Rollins for me.
mm,
Put him on SmackDown. Obviously, Roman Reigns is probably going to be the number one pick to
mm-hmm,
SmackDown.
mm-hmm.
It's clear from what we saw during Triple H's announcement and the reveal of the new, I'll
The
go call it
beautiful.
new. I agree that it's a really really good looking title.
Mm.
It really is. It could have been better without the WWE branding, but I understand why, is in a business sense, why they put that out there.
I'll go as far as to
Um,
say it's the third best looking title they've ever made.
what were the two
The big
before
gold
that?
belt and the winged eagle.
Okay, all right. No, that's fair. That's fair. I always think back to the Winged Eagle and just go, yeah, that's when they got it right.
Mm-hmm.
The, the
100%.
the Big Eagle from the Attitude Era was a good championship too. And obviously I came up with the Undisputed title.
Right.
And then the Cena version, the spinner, that thing.
Beautiful. Beautiful title.
Eh,
Fifth best title ever. Anyways, continue.
So no. When it comes to the spinner belt, I know that I went and said it was trash, and I backtracked. Like maybe trash is a little harsh.
Sure.
I don't think it was trash. I think it was cool that you could spin. And as soon as they went and fixed that and they couldn't spin the WWE logo, I'm like, oh, this is stupid. Like that just made it cool. When the Miz had it and he turned the WWE like he does with the mics and everything, the WWE logo upside down to look like an M. I'm like, oh, now that's kind of cool. But
Mm.
it's like it should have always been able to spin.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Anywho.
Um, anyway, no. So Seth Rollins
Yeah.
should go to SmackDown.
Okay.
And not because I don't want him to be a champion, because I do say Roman Reigns should stay on SmackDown. It's more of a Seth and Roman story. Because Seth made the point on Monday, and he's made the point in previous times.
He's never beat me.
Roman's never beaten him.
Yeah.
So we need that conclusion.
Yeah.
We need that conclusion to that story of, are you actually going to beat me?
We do.
Am I that deep inside of your head? To go in, I'm the reference man of the SLG network, apparently. It's like Star Wars. I'm
Mm.
every voice you ever heard inside your head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in your head, Roman.
Yeah, and I
I've
think
always been in your head.
I think Seth was the closest one to beating him, especially, and then the mind games when he came out to the Shield theme song and wearing the gear. Oh my!
Let me tell you, I popped pretty hard for that.
Oh, I did too. I thought for sure that was the end. I was like, oh, he's winning.
Oh yeah.
There's no way.
To go in here, Sierra Hotel, India Echo, Lima Delta, Shield.
Yeah.
Just to hear that, to see him come from the crowd, like it elicits so many memories for me.
I think that the beautiful part about it, obviously hearing that was like a nostalgia pop, right? Almost. But the beautiful part was that Roman was like not going to acknowledge Seth. And then he heard it and instantly his head popped up and like he had flashbacks and it almost looked like he just got hit by the chair again, like it was a beautiful play of storytelling.
Well, and I mean, you want to talk about storytelling, when Sammy hit Roman in the back with the chair,
Yeah.
you can see in Roman's face that like
no way this happened to me again. Yeah.
Twice? Lightning just struck twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's turning their back on me again. This is, yeah.
Yeah. But this time, everybody liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the Shield being broken up personally, but that's just me. It's a story for another day. For another day.
Over time, I think I liked it, but at the time, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But then to see where it went and to see how things have transpired since the Shield's breakup, I think I'm okay with that. But again, that's a video for another day.
100%. And Seth Rollins and SmackDown makes a lot of sense, especially with the way we want to close out this whole Roman Reigns chapter. I think Roman does need to definitively beat Seth to kind of put himself over to then give it up to Jay or whoever the hell they decide to give it to. Any honorable mentions?
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Where do you put Cody?
Man, that's the tough one, isn't it? Because, like, here's the thing. Like, the World Heavyweight title now is going to be looked as a secondary belt, right? Because you didn't beat Roman to get it. Which is fine. It's still a World Heavyweight Championship, and it's going to have its own lineage. But I think if we're going to finish the story, Cody needs to be on the opposite brand, and he needs to be as far away from the World Heavyweight Championship as possible. He needs to. And then Rumble time comes around, you start to get the seeds planted, and then Cody fails. Gets thrown over the third last man. Whoever wins the Rumble doesn't challenge Roman. They challenge for the World Heavyweight title. And then you have Cody go on a tear, demand a trade to the other brand. I want to be in that Elimination Chamber match. I need to be in that. He maybe even starts to turn a little heel. Not turn heel.
Yeah.
But he starts to beat the crap out of authority figures until they give him what he wants. Like he's bloodthirsty for it now. And then Cody finally gets it, but that he doesn't know who he is anymore. He doesn't recognize himself. There's a lot of stories that could be told, honestly. But I think you have to put him on the other brand. Any other honorable mentions for you?
Just to add to your Cody thing, like if they just say, "Oh, hey, you're going to be in the tournament to win the World Heavyweight Championship," it just kind of cheapens the whole finish the story.
Right. Well, I think even if he wins it, he'll be like, "This isn't the story's not finished. This isn't the WWE title."
Yeah.
Right. So.
I guess an honorable mention for me. And he's an honorable mention just because, like, look, he gets switched brands to almost every single draft they have, but it's The Miz. Because no matter what brand you put him on, he is the same.
Yeah.
He is The Miz. He doesn't change because his character works.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of I know that they tried a face run a couple of times with him, and it worked a little bit when Shane was the antagonist, was the heel.
Mm-hmm.
But The Miz is good as the heel. The Miz is good as that chicken shit bastard that you're just like, oh, I want to see him get what's coming. And no matter what brand he's on, he always brings it because he's like me and you. He's a fan of the business. So he
wants to better the product, yeah.
He puts in that extra effort to make himself better. Like, my parents, when The Miz was on The Real World, that was my first season of watching that, and they were watching him like, he's the one that went to, he was a bit annoying on The Real World, but like, it kind of worked. I'm like, hell yeah, that worked.
He did his job.
He's also a metalhead, so like, metalheads unite.
Okay. I don't have anything else, and if that's all we got, then to anybody who watches this video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment down below who you think needs to get moved to whatever brand. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you already have it. Share this with a wrestling buddy, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.